Hello YouTube, Rumman camera with another video. Now I know I haven't been posting a lot, and that's because, life and all that stuff. But I was sitting in my room the other day, and I really was thinking about what my channel was about. I remember when I first started, I really wanted to focus on, reviewing movies, but also there was another aspect of WWE. As you can see behind me, there you go, behind me, I do have a collection of DVDs. I was a big WWE fan, to say the least. I am not watching the current product. I do still keep up with it, but I'm not as very intact with it. I was a avid WWE fan from, let's say, 2006 to, I want to say, 2014. So, and there were a lot of stuff I watched. I thought it was a great era, great feuds. It had its moments. But, I started my DVD collection because I wanted to know exactly what happened before 2006, the Attitude Era, the Golden Era, the era of the 80s, Hogan Era, all that stuff. So, these DVDs really did help me bring kind of like a whole good idea. And I mean, also, there was also YouTube. YouTube and DVDs. If you do have a DVD collection, I do recommend, like, all the old school pay-per-views, from the 90s, maybe early 2000s, because those are also getting rare to get. It's like, what, over 18 years for a 2000 pay-per-view, which is pretty crazy. So today I thought I would do something different, not a movie review, due to the fact that, I've been watching movies, but really nothing that I've seen to review, so hopefully something will come up on that. But it's a DVD review, a WWE DVD review. It's actually a documentary. And I don't want to keep it in suspense. Today we will be looking at, or I'll be discussing, the epic journey of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Now, if you don't know who this is, he's the dude who's been killing it in Hollywood with his movies. He's in the Fast and Furious, but before he got his, huge role in Hollywood, he started off as a pretty boss wrestler in WWE, and I always found The Rock fascinating. He's definitely one of my favorites. If I had a list of top 10, he would definitely be in the top 5. Due to the fact that his rise in WWE was so fascinating. He debuted in 1997, and, he was known as a third-generation wrestler. Now, what that means is basically his father and his grandfather were wrestlers. So when you're coming into a company with that kind of recognition, honestly, you're kind of set. You really don't have to work your way to it like HBK or Chris Jericho or Triple H. I mean, I'm not saying that third-generation wrestlers don't deserve that, but, you are coming in with a lot of fame, and that's exactly The Rock's case. He debuted in Survivor Series in 1997, and people knew who he was. He was called Rocky Maivia, which he took the Maivia from his great grandfather or grandfather, High Chief Maivia, and Rocky was his father, Rocky Johnson. So he came in and was very. And, he killed it. He won his debut match, and it was a Survivor Series match. So, really, and winning at Survivor Series is such a big deal. And to add on to that, it was in Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the world. So, definitely, that's a big deal. So, and everything about him, he had charisma. His moves were great. And that's what the DVD really gives. It's basically the first disc is a documentary, which is very excellent, I must say, because it just says from his early days to his WWF days to WWE to now, and it's such a fascinating kind of structure of how he does it. And then, the next two discs are just matches, and which I'm not very fond of. I will go into that, but first I want to talk about the documentary. So, it starts off I want to say that these documentaries by WWE are by far my favorite things. I think, making these DVDs about wrestlers and how they came in, how they started, was a freaking awesome idea. I have a bunch back there. I got The Rock, I got Stone Cold Steve Austin, I got Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Bret Hart. Good wrestlers who have good backgrounds. So it's really nice to see exactly how they got their rise and how they are to now or till retirement. So with The Rock, he came in, Rocky Maivia, he's all good. His character is such a clean-cut character. He's smiling, he's always doing it. And, he got a push right away. He won his first championship, I believe, the Intercontinental Championship, in, about 3 months in, which is a very big deal, especially the Intercontinental Championship. It's such a high, prestigious title, honestly. Right after WWE, I think Intercontinental It's much better. Well, hell, I think it might have like more value because so many good people, so many great wrestlers have held it. You know, legends, and so it was really definitely an honor to get it 3 months in. But you know, he had the championships, but the guy was not getting over, and that there's a part of it that the DVD talks about it. You know, it was telling how he, you know, how he would go out there, he would wrestle, but then he would get booed, even though he's a good character, and it went as far as people chanting "Die Rocky Die," and like you know, that's very intense. You know, when you get to a point where people in arenas are just literally telling you to die. You know, that's savage right there. That's some Stone Cold shit. Stone Cold Steve Austin shit. And you know, Stone Cold was actually part of a reason of that chant because, see, the time when Rock made his debut, it was kind of like a shift going on, you know, and the DVD does talk about this, but it's really nice to get different angles. So you know, like I'm talking about like you know the Rock's DVD, then Stone Cold's DVD, and then like also the WCW versus Monday Night Raw like DVD. All three of those DVDs really give you an interesting perspective of exactly what was going on at the time. And basically, it was just a big shift. You know, Monday Night Raw was competing with WCW, who was kicking their ass basically. Well, um, yeah, they were like literally winning, and it was ridiculous. And you know, they realized they had to make a big change, and Stone Cold Steve Austin was that change. After his you know monumental Austin 316, it just the whole like the whole atmosphere just changed. And people became more badass. There was more nudity. Well, not nudity, but like you know, it became more adult. You know, less kiddie. And The Rock, honestly, he didn't have a part in it. So you know, he ended up getting injured, and then he came back 3 months later and turned heel, and that's when his persona, The Rock, became. And I always found that awesome because that could have backfired like that, you know. He could have came back, become The Rock, and people would still not give a shit. Like, yeah, okay, you're The Rock, but because he had so much charisma, you know, they let him talk. They were like, yeah. He asked people like, can I cut a 30-second promo? And they were like, yeah, dude, definitely. And he would just kill it. And it really, his talking skills is what really got him to the point. And you know, he was a decent wrestler. I'm not gonna lie. His like you know, I would watch his matches, and they were very nice. But you know, it's his like you know, it's his personality and his smack talking that really got him to where he is. So it was really awesome to kind of see all that. It was also they also do go into a part where you know The Rock and Stone Cold really got into it, and by far I think for me that's one of the best feuds they've ever had. My favorite match is actually Rock versus Stone Cold WrestleMania 17, due to the fact that you know you have two faces coming in, they're hot as shit. You know, you like 50-50 between the audience, and it's just like a big match. You know, big star power. So I thought it was like really really well done. And you know, I watched that match. So I have it on DVD. I have it on two separate discs. I have it on WrestleMania 17 and also Stone Cold's DVD. So you know, it's quite worth a watch. I'm not even gonna lie, you guys. So and you know, so it talks about that. It talks about how The Rock eventually entered into Hollywood, but still would transition. You know, back and forth, back and forth. It's great. So I definitely do recommend this DVD to you guys because it's just like I said, like it's just really cool to know how much The Rock kind of went through to get to where he is. You know, how you go from Die Rocky Die to like having like thousands of people just chanting your name at ease. That you know, that sounds easy, but it's not really that easy to do. So you know, it's definitely worth a watch, and you know, definitely worth if you're trying to build a collection. I definitely agree to it. So that's the documentary part of it, but the match part is something that I'm not very happy about. I'm opening this DVD because I don't remember the matches, but I do remember being a bit disappointed in them. Now, this is a 3-disc set, so of course, there's the Survivor Series match, his debut, which was you know fine, whatever, you know like traditional Survivor Series, nothing too great. And then there's like a random Rock vs Triple H match, like in Monday Night Raw. Once again, uh, I was like, okay, whatever, because you know usually with these documentaries, the matches tend to be their greatest matches, but the fact that this one didn't have you know that many, it really really didn't like it didn't feel right. And then the next match is actually a good match. The Rock vs. Triple H at SummerSlam 1998, a ladder match. At the time, this was like, I think, the fifth ladder match. So, you know, the people barely saw ladder matches, you know. But this was a great match because literally it was just one ladder. I mean, if you know WWE now, whenever they have a ladder match, they'll literally just orgasm a bunch of ladders everywhere, and like two of them are only going to be used, which I think is honestly ridiculous. If you have that many ladders, use them. But these guys just had one ladder. They used that shit, man. They used it as like a weapon, a catapult. It was ridiculous, and that match was just amazing. I mean, Triple H ended up winning, but man, it was so good. And then the next one is a triple threat match at Breakdown. Some random honest pay-per-view. It was a 10-minute match. It wasn't that, good, but it wasn't bad. And then the best matchup, I think, is the Rock versus Mankind. The brutal I Quit match, where Rock, I think, hit 15 chair shots. You can correct me on that. 15 chair shots to Mankind to the head. And honestly, it was brutal watching it. They really didn't edit. They only edited out like the WF sign, so WWE. So those chair shots, each pounding. And when you watch this match, you'll see why exactly it gets under your skin. There's a Rock versus Stone Cold match, but it's at Backlash. It's like a no holds barred. It's a lot of like interference. I think back then like these matches would just like be literally set up for interference. Like it was still a good match, but I don't think it was worthy of such a big mention. And then we come to Disc 3, and there's this triple threat match at SummerSlam 2000, which again is a great match. We got Triple H, Kurt Angle, and The Rock. It's definitely, it took three legends, definitely. So it's definitely a good watch. And this is what really gets me. This random World Tag Team Championship match on Monday Night Raw. Edge and Christian versus The Rock and Undertaker. I was watching this. I'm like, why is this even here? Like, this is not, like, I don't, like, okay, that's great. They fought for it. But this match wasn't really that great, so I don't see why this is here. Then you have The Rock versus Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Once again, same thoughts. Okay, great. They faced. It was on a Monday Night Raw, so it's like a 5-minute match. I'm really not into this, I was like, ugh. So, whatever. And there was The Rock versus Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam 2002. Another great match. Rock versus Brock. This was actually like his last match as a face before he turned into his 2003 heel turn, which I thought was pretty great. With all those Rock concerts, it was pretty freaking amazing. And then you got The Rock versus Hulk Hogan at No Way Out 2003. This match was just meh, because it was setting up Hogan and Vince, and Rock and Austin. So really, it wasn't as great as anyone hoped. And the rest are just kind of like literally just segments, but good segments. Rock returning to Raw, the Rock concert, which is by far one of my favorite things ever. And when he returned in 2011 and all that stuff. So, but it's if you were to buy this DVD, personally, I think the documentary is just worth it, because it really gives you such an in-depth look into his life and like how he became a wrestler. And it's just a fascinating rise to how it happened. Him, all his feuds, all the shit he had to go through. I think it's definitely worth the documentary. So the epic journey of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So this, this was, it was kind of just me talking, not really, not really a movie review, but I hope to do more of these. I think it'll be in my playlist under WWE. So if you ever do want to watch, and if you guys want to see more of this, just let me know. I have like I said, I have a bunch of documentaries. If you don't know the DVDs I have, I do have a previous video about a couple years ago that tells me how many DVDs I have, and that's about pretty accurate. But I can always make another video of WWE DVDs. So just comment that. And yeah, so thank you for listening, you guys. I'm Rumman, and see ya.